This is the mailman that was driving, you can see.
UCSD robotics professor Henrik Christensen points out the computer system in a small vehicle that's been delivering mail at UC San Diego without a driver to guide it. Driverless vehicles like this one are becoming more common, and Christensen says the new technology, coupled with overloaded supply chains and a shortage of truck drivers, are putting driverless trucks in the sights of a lot of companies.
We have this massive need for getting more out of the ports, getting it on the roads. That's where we're seeing these so we've seen multiple new companies come up that are actually working on this technology, not only TuSimple, Aurora, GM, Tesla is promising this.
But let's stick with that San Diego startup, TuSimple. Its driverless run last month from a rail yard in Tucson to a distribution center in Phoenix was a first for the company and, they say, a first for the industry. But working with partners like UPS, the company is already delivering goods with its autonomous trucks, provided a human safety driver is present. Pat Dillon is the chief financial officer of TuSimple.
The vision of TuSimple is that from a major freight location, like a port, like a rail yard, like a distribution center, we can take our custom-built trucks that will have no driver in it to take a journey that could be 100 miles or it could be 1,000 miles and go from one freight location to another freight location.
The idea that robotrucks would be the spear point of self-driving technology makes sense to UCSD Professor Christensen. He says driving on highways is the easiest application for self-driving vehicles. And given the choice between trusting a human or trusting a robot at the wheel of a truck, the professor's view is pretty clear.
The drivers get tired from these long hauls, and at the same time, you might not be aware of this, but when you have autonomous driving trucks, they actually save fuel. So even from sort of a green perspective, it makes sense. It's no surprise, really, but if you think about it, computers are actually better drivers than people.
Trucks park side by side at this truck stop in Otay Mesa. Truckers stop here for fuel, a shower, and some rest. Some of these drivers are resigned to the future automation of the trucking industry, but they don't share the view that computers are better drivers than they are. Ron Caplet, who hails from Pennsylvania, says he's been driving a truck for 30 years.
I think it's the way the industry is going to go because of the lack of drivers that we do have in it, but I don't particularly care for it.
Why do you not care for it?
I just think it's going to be unsafe for a while. Not being able to, deal with the traffic conditions, the weather conditions. There's too many variables out here that maybe a computer won't be able to adjust to the same way. Maybe it will, I don't know, but it just seems like it won't be able to adjust like we can adjust.
About 10 miles away, students working to become registered truck drivers listen to an instructor at the United Truck Driving School in Mission Valley. The school training coordinator is Phil Harris, who says he thinks automation is great. Will it replace all truckers? No way, he says. But it'll change the nature of the job, making it necessary for truck drivers to understand the technology.
You're going to have someone in there as a technician probably. So I can see us being called pilots, navigators, technicians, overseers, whatever. Maybe we won't be called a driver, but that's why we'll always be in that truck.
Driverless technology still needs some attention. Again, here's Pat Dillon of TuSimple.
Things like redundant braking and steering so that you always have the ability to control the vehicle, even if there is some type of a system degradation.
One student at the United Truck Driving School, Antoine Rackley, says if the job of being a truck driver changes, that's okay with him.
I'm always open to learning, and all new advancement I'm trying to stay on top of. So it's, you either keep up or you get left behind. So if that's the way the world changing, you got to change with it.
Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.